So now it's recording. Okay. Hello, Arinder sir.
Sir. Yeah.
It's time, I guess. 6.
So we can start, sir.
Sumit?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Korit?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Shankar sir, is it audible?
Yes.
Krishna Kumar,
Yes.
shall we start?
Yes, it's audible. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Sir.
Has Suhail
So a
joined?
very good evening to all. A very good evening to. So hope you had a great day today. So this is the 10th program organizing by the Inter Society, and today we are in the part of Inter Society weekly webinar series. And for these last 9 programs, we had some great presentations by some eminent personalities. By the last Wednesdays, we had the program actually. So today is the 10th program. So today's topic is actually design your destiny, the disciplined agile way. So today we have some eminent speaker with us, Dr. Krishna Kumartiya. So I think we will be having a great session today. So now I like to welcome Mr. Kurithupai Varghese, and he is representing our IEEE Engineering in Medicine and Biology Kerala Chapter EMBS. So I welcome Kurithu sir. Over to you, sir, for delivering the welcome address today.
Good morning to all. I consider this an honor given to me to welcome all to this 10th technical talk, that is the Inter-Society Weekly Webinar Series, jointly organized by the Institution of Engineers India Kerala State Center, Computer Society of India Trivandrum Chapter, Project Management Institute of Kerala Chapter, Internet Society Trivandrum Chapter, Pakkamauliya Foundation Trust Trivandrum, and IEEE Engineering, Medicine and Biology Kerala Chapter. As the title which was already told, title of today's topic is Design Your Destiny, and it is going to be, class is going to be taken by Dr. Krishna Kumartiya, President, PMI Trivandrum. And I am informed today that there is 217 participants registered. It's already. And they are all attending this program also. And the participants are from 13 different countries. Because long time when I'm thinking of the talk at Institution of Engineers, we are finding difficult to get members. But see, because of this time, but this is the period of the networking period. That is our global connection to the world of engineering and information. At this time, there is no limit. We can go up to any extent. That is, to design the destiny means that is you are in the driver's seat. You have to choose the quality of or your living of your life. Decision is yours. I am sure everybody will enjoy today's talk. I welcome the speaker, organizers, and all participants to this event and enjoy this technical feast. Thank you. Over to Akila Giri Shankar for introducing the speaker.
Thank you, sir. Today's speaker, Dr. Krishna Kumartiya, is a PhD and CDA and founder and CEO of Travel Spoke, and also a CEO of One Tick Consultants Private Limited. He is the president of PMI Kerala Chapter, and he is a former Deputy General Manager of IBM. Dr. Krishna Kumar is an award-winning entrepreneur who excelled in some of the biggest information technology MNCs, leading portfolios and programs of multi-million dollar value. Having 19 years of experience in project delivery, leadership, sales, account management, program management, business analysis, and training spanning multiple industries like industrial, communication, and public sector. With years of international experience, Krishna brings a unique positive perspective to project management. Leading diverse remote teams by day and managing an all-volunteer staff at PMI Kerala Chapter, Krishna has gained depth and insight into leadership and positive project management. Being a PhD in management and alumnus of India's Best Management Institute, Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, he has an astonishing approach about leadership and project management. His concept of productive utilization, cluster teams, and adventure management of positive risks has bagged many accolades from the experts in the industry. He is a motivational speaker and visionary academia who has been nominated as an expert member of Board of Studies for Business Management at Amrita Vidya Peetham. He has been a board member of PMI Kerala Chapter from 2011 and is the elected chapter president. His projects were awarded the runner-up award for the PMI India Best Project of the Year in 2012 and awarded IBM's Distinguished Project of the Year in 2011. IBM awarded him the Best Project Manager, Best Account Manager titles with Spark and Orion Awards continuously year after year for the extraordinary performance. IBM awarded him with Special Business Award for winning some of the valuable logos. In today's world of agility, let us hear from Dr. Krishna Kumar, a certified disciplined Agile Scrum Master, on how to design our own destiny. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kurit sir and Akila ma'am actually. And I was hearing the wonderful presentation given by both of you. And we have heard about much great profile about Krishna Kumar sir. Like the profile says, today definitely we will be having the great session today. So before to the participants, you can chat, you can raise your doubts in the chat box itself. And towards the end of the session, we will be collecting the questions and we'll be addressing with the Krishna Kumar sir and he will be answering it. Okay. So let's start today's session. Hopefully we will be having a great day. And over to you, Krishna Kumar sir, please.
Thank you. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you from 13 countries. And thank you for the nice introduction, Akila. I'm Dr. Krishna Kumar and happy to see you all here. First of all, I would like to thank Inter-Society Weekly Webinar Committee, especially Harindra Lal, for arranging this wonderful webinar series. Some of the disclaimers before I start. Whatever I am telling today, it is my perception about various things, projects, products across the world. And I may be using film and cricket examples, which may be again truly my perception. Okay, and let's start by putting a very simple story, right? The hare and the tortoise story, and I'm sure that many of you have heard that in your life and when you are a kid, and now my kids are studying the same story. So the story goes like this: there was a hare and a tortoise, and they were friends, and one day they challenged each other for a race, and the tortoise accepted the race. And the hare was very confident. He ran half the way and he thought that, okay, he already won the match, and he slept in between for some time. And in the meanwhile, the tortoise was consistent, steady. He was putting one step at a time, growing, walking, crossing the hand and reaching the final line. And he became the winner. That was a story which we were taught, and the key thing was steady, slow and steady wins the race. And nowadays, the management experts have actually put a very different version of this particular story. And they were telling that hare and the tortoise were thick friends previously. And it means that hare and tortoise have a very frequent communication. And the tortoise was a very desperate guy, a disappointed person who was never been successful in his life. Hare was trying to motivate him through many of the activities, and he was telling that you can live for 130 years, 120 years, it is your lifespan, and I live only very small time. You can be successful many a times. Lot of motivational talk which he have actually put forward to tortoise, but the tortoise was not very happy, or tortoise was very dejected. And he was telling that whatever you say, I was never a success story in my life. So how can you say that I am a success? And Hare one day thought like, okay, let me challenge him and make him a success. So the Hare challenged him, and in the meanwhile, the race started, and in between he slept. He acted like sleeping, and he allowed the tortoise to win. And once the tortoise won, everybody started applauding tortoise and say that, oh, okay, it's a great thing, great achievement by a tortoise, and it was never ever happened in the life. And he suddenly became successful, and then the success story continues. And mainly the management experts were telling that the hare never challenged him for a second time. That is the main reason why he was actually a person who will be interested in making the tortoise win. Right? So it means that there is always a different perception to whatever things you do, because whatever you do, it depends upon the context which you are in, or a different perception which you are into. Right? I don't know which story you like and which story you want to take it forward. And one thing I just want to comment is that you can actually use the chat box to communicate, so that we can actually be an interactive, we can make this session a little more interactive, and we will understand how everything works forward. So I like the second version of the story, because it's actually a win-win situation to everybody, and it's a huge success for tortoise and a huge success for hare as well, because he was as a friend of tortoise, he made the tortoise successful. Right? So I prefer to go with the second version of the story. So whichever version of the story you want to go with, the main thing you need to understand is that there is always a second perspective. So again, then the question comes, what is success? And especially, what is success in terms of a project? According to Project Management Institute, PMI, it's an international organization, 14% of the total projects fail. So it is a statistics which have been put forward. However, this number only represent the total failures, that is end-to-end failures of the project that didn't fall outright. 31% didn't meet the expected goals. 43% exceeded their initial budgets. 49% were too late. In total, if you are looking at the success percentage of the products, it is less than 50%. So how we can actually make projects successful, right? For making the project successful, we need a success criteria. One, we need to deliver it on time. Two, the cost should not exceed its budget. Three, the work should be as designed. Whatever we design, it should work. And people should use it. That is the main important thing. Whatever you do, whatever the best product that you are actually doing it, but if people are not using it, there is no point in having the people using it. Happy, the stakeholders should be happy. The stakeholders is a term which is associated with any project management, where who are all the people who are internally or externally affected by this particular project is called stakeholders. And these stakeholders need to be totally happy in order after completing the project, because the finance department should be happy because it should deliver on time and it should not exceed the cost of the budget. And the marketing department should be good enough because they need to have a total sellable product in their hand, and the customers who is using it need to be very happy because it should need to improve their day-to-day life or making a value addition. And ultimately it should meet all the objectives and goals of a project which is being defined. Question. Previously, when you are a kid, right, you will identify, you should have actually find a home to the Bittu hare or Bini hare. You should have actually, there is a place where you can actually draw and find a way to the home for the tortoise or the hare, right? That is a thing which many of us should have played in our previous, when we are kids, and now our kids are doing that. So the question is that what is the easiest way to do that? The easiest way to do that is that we should draw from the home back to the hare or the tortoise, whichever is looking for the home. That is the easiest way. So identifying how to make a project successful, we need to understand what are the reasons to failure and eradicate that. It is that simple. So it is one of the main reason for failing is inaccurate requirement. People may be thinking something, they may be communicating something to us, and we will understand something differently, and we will communicate that to the developers or communicate to the engineers on a different way, and the engineers will deliver a totally different product. It may not be serving the purpose. And the project sponsors who sponsor the product by money and time should be involved from the day one to the day till the last day. So if the project sponsors are not involved, then we are in trouble. And project objectives will differ because many of the people involved, many of the projects started before Corona time frame or COVID-19 time frame should have actually shifted their project objectives by now, because whatever the scenario, whatever the context which is there before the COVID-19 situation should have changed by now. And the project objectives will be changing, or project objectives are continuously changing, and how we can actually handle it. And there will be dependencies from different people. There will be different organizations when you are working on a huge project, and there will be dependencies from IT departments, there will be dependencies from the support department, there will be dependencies from the marketing department, and there will be dependencies from different vendors, right? So these dependencies will surely make a huge delay. Inaccurate estimates, because estimates, we call it as guesstimates initially, because it is all the perception of the person who is doing the estimation matters, and the tool which we are using for the estimation matters. And many a times when we are identifying the scope of the project and the very initial time, the estimate will be like plus or minus 100% variance. So there is always be inaccurate estimates, and the best way to handle is actually continuously improving your estimates. Unexpected risk, lot of unexpected risk may come up, and for example, the COVID thing again, it's a huge unexpected risk which has come up, and if maybe there may be known risk, because we are very sure that this risk is going to happen, and the risk is known. And many a times there will be known risk, which we are that risk may be known, but we are not very sure that it should affect our project. And sometimes there will be totally unknown which will be there, like this COVID, which affect us entirely because we don't know anything and we never envisioned this kind of a situation ever happen. And most of the times we speak about not having enough resources or not having right resources to work on the project. So if we are not having right resources or enough resources to work with the project, then obviously the project will be a failure. So, and when we are looking at it, there may be poor project management. Like we may be planning, doing everything accurately. We do a right estimate. We understand. We make sure that the customers are being taken care. The stakeholders are being totally involved, and we have set the objectives. But if we are not monitoring and continuously monitoring the project and making sure that the project is delivered on time, then the entire project is set for a failure. And many times what will happen is that if there is a pure project management happening, or if we are not controlling them properly, there will be a team member procrastination which will happen, because team members will believe that, okay, it is fine that, yeah, this project I'm able to do that, but on a later phase. Yeah, this task we can do it tomorrow as well. So these will get accumulated and the project get delayed. So if these 9 reasons, if we are able to solve in the very beginning itself, or trying to do a continuous improvement to make sure that all these reasons are being totally taken care, then the project is bound to be successful. So I will give you 2 case studies, which is having the same project scenario. Everything is exactly the same, but we approach it in 2 different ways. I was working with IBM for more than a decade, and I was into the public sector, and I was handling ERP projects, which are very complex in the public sector. So we may be doing a lot of projects, but doing the project may not help in making the project successful. Helping improvising the project management strategy and how we do it at that time will make the project successful. We have a huge project on our hand for implementing a PeopleSoft ERP for a public sector research university, and they are one of the biggest universities in Canada and in the world as well. And I'm keeping the information, the name of the university confidential because of the confidentiality agreements. So the challenges were at the time of contract writing itself, they have very specifically said that we need to have resources on premise to understand the requirement and take it forward. And we have set up our entire a big team in order to make sure that we have the landed resources, and every senior resource is very happy to work with these kind of projects, because it's a landed resource in Canada for a long time. So everybody is happy, and I was one of the most sorted out person at that time in IBM, so that everybody is looking for me, saying, oh, okay, I'm interested. Suddenly, there was, and one more thing was there. They have to release this project was signed on October, and in 2010, and they want to make sure that in October 2011, they want to make sure there should be an implementation of the benefits system in the entire university. And for implementing the benefit system, we need to make sure that the HR system need to be implemented. So this is all integrated projects. So timelines are stringent, and timelines are very much already in place. And we have landed resources, so we planned everything perfectly. Everything, we know that everything is perfect. Suddenly there is a policy change happened from the consulate, saying that a person who can actually travel need to minimum work 2 years in that particular company to make a landed move. Suddenly all these people who started interacting with me, only 10% of the people can actually fly, but the remaining everybody was actually out of the scope. So whoever calling me till that time, suddenly they vanished. And I was not able to reach them as well, because everybody want to work in the onshore, that is along with the customer. So policy hugely changed. And as usual, if we are working with this kind of service companies, you understand that suddenly we will be getting a full set of new recruits, and it has been put into 5 different locations across the world. And we were very sure that, okay, this project is set to fail because we have a lot of new recruits, we have a lot of policy changes, and this project is going to fail. But we are able to make things change to a huge success story. And one of the key things that we put forward is that it was a transparency which we have put forward to the entire organization. And every week we started putting the status of whatever it has been completed. We have actually put it entirely every week. And on every week, one more thing which we did is that we have created cluster teams where only 2 senior resources will be aligned or assigned in a vertical or in a value stream. We call it as value stream. Value stream is something which is from the very beginning to end gives a particular value to the customer. That is called a value stream. So for every value stream, we created clusters, and every cluster will have 2 senior resources followed by fully junior resources. And these two resources need to work in tandem with the Canadian timings in order to make sure that the maximum spread is being reached. And they need to ensure the right knowledge being transferred to these people. Then because we got all these people now, and we need to increase synergies by putting the dashboards, and we are giving the person of the week, the person of the month kind of awards. In order to make a little more synergy, we took them to team outing, making sure that we take them to the films. And every week we started discussing on how to optimize the delivery and improve our timelines. Because we know that if we are actually going in the regular time frame, we are not going to success in the project. So every week we started discussing on how to optimize the delivery, give one improvement at a time. So we started working on improving on different perspective. And the key differentiator which we were able to do is that the productivity percentage we were able to calculate for the people. And we started publishing a leadership board to the entire stakeholders. That is, to the client, we have multiple vendors across the world. For everywhere, we started publishing the dashboard. That's kind of a leader dashboard. So everybody can see that their names are being in the leader dashboard, and it is getting increased. And people got so excited, and people started working on it. After some time, we understood that the fully new recruits became the leaders in the leaderboard. And these recruits were having 130% to 150% of productivity, which was unparalleled, because we never expected that they can do such kind of a productivity. And we suddenly got surprised how these people can actually make such a kind of a productivity improvement. And first, initially we thought like, okay, maybe because we have given them a less complicated task, that may be the reason why they are able to make such a complicated thing. But later we understood that we started giving them complex tasks also, they were able to make it done very quickly. On doing a root cause analysis, we understood that the productivity percentages were increased because they make sure that their seniors are being pulled or being utilized, and their task will be completed by most of the senior people. And they made sure that the seniors were worked enough and get the maximum productivity out of the seniors. And the seniors productivity level goes down, but the juniors productivity level goes very, very high, and they were in the leadership board for long. And this means that every risk is coming with an opportunity. Whatever the risk which we are in, it will come with a huge opportunity. The only thing we need to do is that understand the opportunity, make things happen. Some of the key wins which happened in this project, we have 56% increase in the gross profit, that is DP, 1,400 man months of account growth. It's a huge account growth for an account. We got the IBM Distinguished Project of the Year 2011. We became the runner-up for the PMI's India's best short-term project in 2012 as well. This is one scenario. Consider this scenario, and we have another scenario, exactly the same requirement, but the context is different. We were working for World Bank and the International Financial Institution for again a PeopleSoft implementation with HR and finance together. We have some of the key challenges were that the projects were very stringent. The timelines were very stringent. We have multiple vendors. And interestingly, my manager called me during a day break, and he said that, okay, Krishna, I think you are working too hard, and everybody is noticing that now. So I was very happy. And he said that, okay, why can't we go for the KGA and to the golf course in Karnataka Golf Association? It is just near to our office in Domlo, and have some chit chat there. And I was very happy, and we left there. We had some chit chat there, and he was telling me that, the senior most people in IBM, that is the CEOs and the coming CEO, everybody is talking about you. And they were telling that there's a huge project which is coming on the way. It is a new logo into IBM. And if you are able to take it up, it's a huge success. I was happy because obviously I'm a human being, and I was so excited because everybody is talking about me, and it seems like I'm able to make it. And then suddenly he said, Krishna, I heard that there is this organization has sued previous 5 customers, 5 of their vendors, and we seems to be the 6th vendor. But we are very sure that you are able to make it. And he was actually putting that in a very low tone. I didn't notice it that much. Then later, I identified that there's some of the key learnings I have is that if your manager is telling a lot of good stories about you, then you are in trouble. If your manager is telling that something in a very low voice, again, try to understand it to the core, because you are going to be in trouble. Okay? So this project is having a lot of vendors. We have multiple vendors, and everybody was trying to pull it down, and they were like crabs put in a template. So everybody tried to pull their other people leg down to make sure that everybody want to survive. And we have a single closed global delivery location. Everybody was being put into one common location, and even the vendors started coming to the IBM location because of the privacy and security issues, it became a challenge. So again, we got a very inexperienced team because this is a huge thing. We need experienced team to make happen. Tough customers because they already sued 5 and we are the 6th. So we are very sure that there is something is going to happen. And our internal stakeholders were not committed to the agreed terms and conditions, because the IBM works on a way. They have more than 100 years of experience, and they have more than 30 years of project management core experience, and a lot of money has been poured over the project management. And everything goes through the process, and there is no hero culture, and everything goes through the process. What happened is that if you are asking for something more according to the contract, the stakeholders will get like, okay, why should you want this? We want a specific configuration of the system. I said, okay, why should you want it? Okay, this is as per the contract. Okay, if you are looking, give me the contract. So it is going to take a lot of time, and every time we were like, we are getting frustrated. So, and there were Palo Alto servers which were being imported from US, and we have customs issues, a lot of issues which have happened, but somehow we were able to make it not through the optimizing the process, but through the human touch, which we are able to provide to the various stakeholders which are there, and the supporting organizations across, again, is not aligned. Again, we were able to make it a huge success again through winning the stakeholders through the human touch, which I was telling. And we make sure that entire thing is brutally honest. We were trying to make sure that we will not hide anything at any cost. That was the thing which we have actually discussed, and we were brutally honest. We understand the communication between the people, make sure that the things are going good. And we set up self-managed teams where the teams were able to handle themselves, and they were able to raise up to the occasion. And everybody is like a star player who can actually do coding, they can understand the requirement, they can speak with the customer and make things happen. And we have put an internal quality gate which help in identifying the defects early before it is being sent to the production. So it avoids a lot of customer escalation, and we ensure that there is a initially it was a very difficult thing, there was a lot of learning curve, but we were able to make sure that everything works good. It is a huge logo win for IBM. We got 10 out of 10 in a CSR rating, and it is a customer satisfaction rating which we are having, and it is a 10 out of 10 is always a miracle. And 500% account growth, and we got IBM's Best Lean Implementation Award and many other awards on the way. So the basic thing is that in both the cases, we have everything which is exactly the same. No changes which are there. The only thing is that the context, the people there, the team there are different. And we need to use different strategies to make things happen. And to make every project successful, there should be always a best adopted method need to be there. And one of the best adopted method which is available now is a disciplined agile, which one of the myth about agile is that it is only for the IT industry, but it is not, because it is only a process decision toolkit which help in making decisions. In simple terms, it is actually a toolkit for making decisions, and it will make straightforward guidance in a context sensitive manner. And that is the most important thing, that everything which work on one project may not work on the other project, because there will be a lot of differences happening between different projects. And according to the context, we need to customize or optimize the project, how we are handling the project, and take it forward. And this provide a solid foundation to the business agility, because all the projects now are agile to the core. It is 100% agile. Everything, every requirement is getting changed, and people are not waiting for entire 2 years to complete one project or 3 years to complete one project. Everybody wants a result or a value quickly. So this is a methodology which help you deliver the customer, whoever is the customer, a quick business agility, and showing how various activities work together. Because there will be a lot of activities and everything need to be worked together. And what are the challenges which need to be addressed, what are the risks need to be addressed, and what are the options we have. And there will be a lot of trade-offs between different options, because we cannot implement every option in a project at the same time. So we need to trade off between some of the projects. And interesting question. So who is actually the best captain in Indian cricket team? If you can actually put some comments so that I can understand what you think. If you can actually put it in the chat. Kapil Dev from Mahesh, Dhoni from Neelagandan. Thank you. Any other? Saurav, Dhoni, Kapil, Dhoni, Saurav, Kapil Dev. These are all the captains which made huge success to India. So we have a lot of people who are actually, yeah, oh, okay, that's a good thing, Asruddin, because I never expected Asruddin to be one of the, two people have actually put Asruddin's name. Okay, that's very much interesting. So there are many captains which make a huge impact in the Indian cricket, like Kapil Dev, who have actually first time, people never expected that Indian team can actually bring such a World Cup to India. And Kapil Dev and his team of devils went there and made it happen. And one of the captain which made a huge difference in the entire Indian cricket scenario is Ganguly. And because Ganguly is the captain, after that there is actually a pre-era as well as a post-era. Like Kapil Dev have a pre-era as well as a post-era. Ganguly have a pre-era as well as a post-era where he got a great successor like Dhoni who actually got the cup back to India. And now Virat is having a great captaincy which is happening now. So some of the, from looking from a management perspective, a lot of great things happen during the, okay. Okay, I'm not audible to you.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so there are actually a lot of changes which Ganguly has bring to Indian cricket during that time. And you may be knowing about this photo, which is actually one of the very, an iconic photo where Ganguly removed his shirt and waved on England. And making sure that we are we are victorious in the NatWest trophy. So this is a huge victory to us, and this changed the Indian mindset. Like from this is actually from my perspective, this photo changed the entire mindset of India from a gentleman's game who actually go play the game very much, be happy, do it professionally and come back to a team which go to any extent, make sure that go make it very aggressively and making sure that everything is doing for the victory. So this is the key transformation which they have actually bring in. And some of the key transformation measures is everything is becoming an all-rounder. He have actually picked and choose the team, and most of the team were having all-rounders. We have a highly motivated team and highly energetic, very aggressive, because previously Australia was the most aggressive team in the field and maybe outside as well. So now India also trying to compete with them in the aggressiveness in the field and then outside. And they were like tick to tag, making sure that you may be knowing all these issues with the Siemens and all those stories. If we have a highly motivated team, a self-maintained and adaptable team, which is totally have transformed from India from a self-managed to an adaptable team, where if we lost 4 wickets, 5 wickets, no problem. They will be actually working on and making the things happen. And a key important thing is that he was the captain and the coach were part of the committee, and previously also they were there, but they have more voice in the committee in making the team selection. And some of the key selections were like we have Sehwag, we have Harbhajan Singh, we have Yuvraj, Sahir Khan, lot of great players which have been selected during this time frame, and they changed the entire Indian history. Before that, we were a very disciplined, very professional, up to the dot professionals, and now we were energetic, enthusiastic, go-getter team, which made the huge thing happen. And we got a wicket-keeper batsman, which changed the entire story. And it means that we need a specialist who can actually make the difference to the entire thing. And it was none other than Dhoni, and he became the best wicket-keeper batsman in the world as well. And previously we have, initially we have great people who started batting, and if we fall 3 wickets, then we will be in trouble. Later, the 5 wickets down also, we started working on it. We started winning the games. In 2001, we have a test match where Anil and Srinath were not there, and the key 2 bowlers, and we were actually 1-0 to Australia in that test match. And it was the first innings we were actually went for a follow-on, and in the second innings we started, it was 224-4, where Lakshman and Dravid started batting, and we win the entire match. So it's like, and we were competing against the mighty Australians at that time, and the mighty Australians were under Steve O, who is the captain, who said that the game is not over until the last ball. So the international coach, till then we have an approach that we have great coaches with us, but an international coach which has actually come in, changed the whole scenario. And one other international coach actually ruined the scenario as well. That's a different story. And more choice to the game style and the players, because previously we have limited number of players, but we have a more number of choices and the game players which help in making the things happen. So this made India a great thing called Team India. The Team India spirit has been put forward, and from that time onwards, we can see that that every Indian player is hugging together and making cheering up like we are a Team India. So that makes a huge difference, and eventually this huge difference which this Ganguly era has come up, and it was mostly the learning curve. And at the time when Dhoni came in, he was able to improvise on the whole thing. And at Ganguly, we were able to reach only the finals to the World Cup. And but at the time of Dhoni, we were able to win the match because of the each individual player was a self-motivated player and who are able to make the huge difference. Why these things happen? There are 7 key principles which makes a project hugely successful in case of discipline agile. 1, we have to delight customers, because delighting customer is not like just serving the customer. If you are actually checking into a hotel and if there is no line in the hotel and you bought a room in the nice hotel, a nice cozy room, it's only like we are satisfying the customer. But if you are actually coming to a hotel and the bellboy calling you by the name and the receptionist calling you by the name and welcoming you, and you are getting a very good room and an upgraded room with one of the snacks which is the most opt-out snacks for you, or some of the food which you are looking for, and it will be giving you a very great experience to you. And it may not be like always you need to get it, but one time if you are getting it, then that experience will make you different. And you need to have a great team. Your team need to be awesome. And as a leader, you should not have to make sure that anybody else will get involved into the team and making them not delivering the product. So the team should be awesome, like the Team India, which we were telling about. We need to have an objective approach, that is pragmatism, and we need to make sure that we have different players. Like we have a great player like a wall like Dravid, and we have different players like Lakshman, we have different players like Yuvraj, we have Sehwag, different type of players which need to be used at the right place at the right time. And again, the context counts. The simplest example of a context count is actually when we were actually having these webinar series which are happening in PMI and as well as for the inter-society. So we started discussing that we need to give the best webinar speakers for making the thing most effective. And one of my VP was there, Jay Kishore. He was working with Brahmos, and he was telling that, okay, we need to get the best so that people will feel that, okay, they are the best, and everybody will be listening to that. So how do we identify that? And we try to identify many people name, but nothing is coming up. So we thought like, okay, let's Google. And I started typing the best speakers in India. And suddenly I got a result from the Google that Sony, Panasonic, and all other speakers' name come into picture. So what from our context, the speaker means we were actually speaking about a great orator, a trainer who can actually speak well in terms of to the people. And now in the case of the context of Google, speaker means like Bose or Panasonic or Sony. So the context counts, and this is very much important for the success of any project. And we need to have different choices. And that is the one of the things which the post-Ganguly era captains of India has actually got blessed with. We have a lot of choices. If somebody is sick or ill, we have different choices who can actually take care of them and make things happen. So there should not be any problem at all. And there will be a lot of choices. And we have to optimize the flow. And every time, like we discuss in the case studies, we have to optimize the flow and make things happen quickly. And we need to have an enterprise awareness to understand that whatever the products which we are having, the assets which we are having in the project, we need to utilize from the enterprise, and we need to comply to enterprise goals and objectives so that there will not be any confusion. So 7 key points, which are the principles for becoming a discipline. So to be disciplined is to do the things that you know are good for you, and things that usually require a lot of hard work and perseverance. It requires discipline to regularly delight your customers, and it requires a lot of discipline for the leaders to ensure that the people are working in a very safe environment to be working in, and everybody need to be recognized, and the approach should be tailored according to the context. And as a captain or as a project manager in your team, you need to make sure that your project is being tailored, and only the things which gives value to the customer need to be adapted. Otherwise, you should not have to use any of the thing. And one of the myth, Agile is only for IT projects. No, Agile is just a mindset which have principles and guidance. A lot of principles and guidance will be available, and we have 4 views. One is actually the mindset with principles and guidance. Second is we have people with the roles and responsibilities and the team structures. We have flows, that is the project workflow with the workflows and the life cycle for different projects which will be there, and practices and goal diagrams. These 4 views will help you in tailoring any project which you are having and making it into a huge success. And as you are aware, every team is unique. Whatever you do, whatever you say, every team you are getting is unique, and every scenario is totally unique. And the teams have different purposes, like it is having finance, development, marketing, etc. It is having sometimes different cultures, big size or small size. We have different approaches, maybe a traditional project management approach or agile, lean, whatever it is, and it will be distributed across. And presently, we are actually, most of the people are working from home, and it will actually make things more complicated. So in discipline agile, we have only 5 rules. One is actually having a team lead who understand, who make the entire process works. That is like a project manager who entirely focuses on making things work. Second will be, he will be a scrum master as well. And we have a product owner who will communicate regularly with the customer to understand if there is any changes in the priority or in the scope. And we have an architectural owner if there is any technology changes which are happening in the architecture or any changes which are happening, we need to take it. And we have a team member, and finally a stakeholder, which helps in understanding that it has customer as well. It may have be a sponsor, it may be an operational executive, or maybe a support staff. Anybody can be a stakeholder. So these are all the only 5 primary goals available in the discipline Agile. And we have, if you are actually scaling up the team, there will be a potential scaling factor, and which can be utilized with the 5 different aspects, which is like geographic distribution, 6 aspects, sorry. Geographic distribution, organizational distribution, compliance, technical complexity, and the team size, which will define the entire project. So whichever project you are working with, whichever technology which you are working with, what type of project you are working with, what type of methodology you are using it. So everything can be incorporated into an enterprise view, and it can be used for agility. And if you are working with if you are a Scrum team, who or an agile team who is working in a project, and there will be a lot of different organizations which will be working with you, like finance, IT operations, people management, procurement, marketing strategy, etc. There are a lot of organizations which are working it, and we need to make sure that these projects, these organizations are to be agile as well, so that we can actually make sure that the things are happening. So we have, this is actually an organizational structure in discipline agile, where we have 6 different approaches for delivering it. We need to make sure that we are having a disciplined DevOps, which will be totally on top of it, which will handle the entire data and IT operations. We are having an IT operations on top of that, and the enterprise on top of all these things. This is called the square onion, where it is like peels in the organization. We can actually peel it, different layers, which we can actually peel it and understand how these things work. So when you are looking at the data management, this is what I was telling about. It is actually a simple, straightforward thing, where if you are having a data management there, we have different set of goal diagrams which is there. This is the goal diagram for the data management process line. Each goal diagram has a set of things to consider, like improving the data quality, evolving the data structure, a lot of different things which are there. We have decision points, and we have different options. And you can see an arrow in different options, where if it is a straightforward thing, then automatically if it is a bold and italic thing will be considered as the best. And if it is an arrow which is there, it is considered that pointing towards the arrow is the best opportunity, which or the best method that you need to adopt. So the key process goals, which make sure that putting it in simple terms, we have the inception phase, construction phase, and transition and ongoing. And we need to make sure that at the inception phase itself, everything is being taken care, and the entire project is being planned. Testing need to be, scope need to be finalized. We need to finalize the architectural strategy, and we need to make the release. And the team, the main thing is regarding a discipline agile is that you can design or you can define what exactly your project is going to be and what exactly your destiny is going to be. And the key thing is that you can choose either of these 6 projects, or maybe methodologies, or maybe some other methodology which we can actually incorporate into a discipline agile method. So everything depends upon you, who is actually the project manager or the team lead, who makes a huge difference. There are multiple methodologies which we will be using, and considering the differentiation between an agile is that we have different milestones which are being put forward, and a governance is being baked into the discipline agile. And this is something which usually the agile methods are not having. So this milestone, we have 6 visions. One is actually a stakeholder vision, which need to be making sure that everything at the inception phase itself should be very clear. We need to have a proven architecture for making the entire thing happen during the construction phase. And it should have a continued viability, whether all these things make sense. And we have sufficient functionality. The MVP need to be built in order to make everything works together. And it should be a production ready, and it should delight the customers. This is the method which we will be using for making the thing happen. Like the coach, an international coach has come into the Indian cricket team, which makes a huge difference. Here, we are actually, whenever there is an MVP which is being put forward, we will identify a problem, we will identify a potential solution, we will try the solution, look for the effectiveness, adopt whether it is working or not, and if it is not working, we can abandon it and share the learnings. But in the case of many a times, what will happen is that many a times the experiments will fail. And experiments will fail once the product has been completed. And the discipline agile believes that failing fast is great, but it is always better to succeed early itself. So if we can have a set of guidance which is already there, which can help at the time of identifying the potential solution itself. It will make a huge difference. And who can do that? A potential coach who can actually help in making it. But many a times what will happen is that getting a coach will be very difficult. So Discipline Agile already have a toolkit which help in making the entire Discipline Agile thing happening. So it is a straightforward toolkit. They will have process blades which will have different goals, and different goals have different decision points, and we have different options. So whichever the thing which you are choosing, you can need to navigate through the goals and making sure that you will get the best approach available in the world. So if it is a guided continuous improvement, there is always a dip in the initial phase because there is going to be a learning curve. And from there, if you are going and a usual perspective method, we can go like this, but if you are putting into a guided continuous improvement, it will again grow to the next level. In summary, Discipline Agile is like you can help in getting better decisions, and better decisions can make better outcomes. Interestingly, if there is any decisions goes wrong in Discipline Agile as well, that is all fine because you can actually change the project cycle, project management cycle. You can make the changes at any point of time. That is the beauty of Discipline Agile, and which can be implemented to any project, any place, any industry. And how we can actually getting it implemented? We have a Bible called Choose the Wow, which is which help in making the entire thing happen. And it have all the process methods, it have all the process blades, we have goals, everything which has been clearly defined there. They can a guide can actually just refer to it and make things happen. That is the only thing which is required. So if you are looking for a Discipline Agile roadmap, you can actually be a Discipline Agilist, and you can be a certified Discipline Agile Scrum Master and a Discipline Agile certified coach. So the question comes, lot of things at a common thing. So how we can actually make it happen? So let me close the whole thing with a simple story. And there is actually a clock shop where there are two clocks. One is an old clock which is more than 100 years of experience, and the other is a clock which is very new. And the new clock was asking the old clock, right? Oh, you are more than 100 years. So you put 60 seconds into 60 minutes, into 24 hours, into 365 days a year, into 100 years. So you put a lot of effort in making things happen, and you became such a visionary. You made a lot of things happen like this. And I'm sure that I cannot make all these things happen. And the old clock said to the new one, say that, don't worry about it, because you need to tick one at a time. You should not have to forget, you need to forget about everything else. Because the years, the months, the hours, everything happened. Ultimately, it is all a very simple step you need to make. Start, do one at a time, and go through the process, change accordingly, and you will be a success. Thank you. That's all from my side, and I'm open for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Krishna Kumartiya sir. As your title says, the disciplined agile way, your presentation is also is an agile. That is, you have presented in a lightweight manner to getting the topics concluded to the participants. And with your two case studies and the Indian team scenario, that was so easy to understand us. So I think we can get into the chat sessions. And before that, to the participants, please share your name and institution names to the host. Okay, please share your name and institution name to the host. Okay, I think, sir, we can take the questions now. Yeah,
Yes,
questions you can chat me publicly. Sir, two questions we had actually. First one is, actually somebody is asking, sir, can agility lead to harmony and synergy? The question is like that, sir. Can agility lead to harmony and synergy?
Yes, very much actually, because for making the things agile, we need to make sure that you are totally having a self-managed team or a highly motivated team to make things happen. First of all, that is the key requirement to make a team agile. And everybody need to be like an all-rounder in an Indian cricket team. Everybody need to be an all-rounder as well. So if the only thing is that we need to make them perform well, recognize them properly on a regular basis, and that too, because usually what happens is the project management, we have the recognitions and award, which will be there only at the end of the year. But if we are able to recognize people for their small things, maybe very small things, which they are actually doing, recognize them, give them a pat on the back, may not be a huge certificate or anything, give them a pat on the back, and make sure that everybody is gelling together with a team, then the agility continuously flows. Because there are Apollo guys who considered us very self-motivated guys who work independently like an alpha wolf. So these people, we need to be tamed down in order to work in an agile team. So that it is, in an agile team, we always discuss about synergy. We never discuss about an independent teamwork. Like individual contribution, this much of individual contribution happen. But if they are doing something extra, we need to recognize, but we will project only the team's contribution. So always the team comes first. And in Agile, more than process, it is always the people who makes the difference. And like I always quote with the Ganguly's India, the team India, where actually when 4 people down, Yuvraj come and make 6s, that makes a huge difference. Okay? Or maybe Sevak making a huge 50, and that makes a huge, because I never speak about Tendulkar or Sachin, because he's a god and he's not a human. So let's keep him aside and look at how others played, right? That makes a huge difference.
Okay, sir. Sir, next question is actually I think Agile is basically they come to a mindset to accept changes or forced changes. Whether this Agile is a mindset to accept changes or forced changes.
It is actually an accept changes, and the main we need to understand is that in Agile, there should not be any forced decisions. It should be a team decision which need to be taken care. And in Agile, there will be different set of teams which will be there in because we have different methodologies like Scrum or Lean. We have multiple methodologies where everywhere it is the team who is actually playing a huge difference, and there will be regular iterations which will be happening, and every iterations will be either 1 week to 4 weeks. And in that the team only plays a huge decisions, and it will be only the collective decisions and the ownership which is with them. And if there is any forced decision which is actually coming to an agile thing, which is setting the agile thing to be a failure. So no forced decisions. Everything should be taken care internally.
Okay, sir. So there is another interesting question, sir. Actually, sir, how does the Agile team working in an institution that is not so agile? How to work in an Agile team in an institution? The institution is not so agile. How to work like that?
yeah. That is another thing which DA is always talking about. Your team can be agile only if your organization being tend to agile. We will not say that agile or tend to agile or accepting to agile, because we need to interact with the different stakeholders. We have stakeholders as a key factor, and we need to interact with the different stakeholders to make things happen. So while optimizing the process flow, one of the things we will optimize is that we will optimize the process flow with the different stakeholders as well, in order to reduce the dependency with the different stakeholders. So it is always better. We need to do continuous training, guided sessions with the other teams as well, to make sure that everybody is at least synced to Agile rather than taking it forward. Right? Because no team can be successful with other organizations associating with them or not Agile.
Fine, sir. So somebody is asking, what are the challenges or problems that we are facing while implementing an agile methodology to your experience? Can you explain with some real examples?
Okay, some of the key challenges, which is primarily that, like some of the questions which are asked, like, is the mindset, because everybody have a difficulty in understanding what exactly is agile, and everybody because people will not understand about totally about agile, and it is like a half-baked thing to many of the people, and people will think that okay, agile is no documentation. Zero documentation. That is one of the myth which everybody is taking forward. And some of the people say that, okay, since we are agile, we don't have a timeline to complete, because and in an ideal scenario, agile teams will complete the project 30% less time compared to the other projects. But some people will think that, okay, since agile is not having a estimation which is initially, and it is an iterative estimation, people will think that okay, now we can actually go up to any sort to any time frame to complete the agile, but that is also wrong. These things will make or pull agile back and make things complicated. And the third thing is that, for example, there will be finance organizations, marketing organizations, stakeholders which are already supposed to be committed to work along with the agile team. They will not be available during the time. So these will make things complicated, because in an agile, we need to continuously work with the stakeholders or the end customer to understand that what is their thought process. Then only we need to, like we are doing in a constructing a house, we need to make sure that we are regularly discussing with the owner of the house to make sure that okay, is everything goes good. Right? The similar kind of a thing we need to do for completing any project in Agile. And if the Agile stakeholder is telling that, oh, okay, I will handle everything, but he will not come to the meetings or he will not come to the retrospective, then it is always a challenge. So some of the key challenges are like this. In order to handle how we will handle these challenges is that we will do continuous trainings, mentoring sessions to the entire organization rather than putting it to the only to some teams. We will do it to the entire organization and the key stakeholders, whoever is working along with the Agile team. We will do continuous training and associations so that everybody will understand that this is more important. And agile team leader need to be a little, or the scrum master, whoever is working, need to be a little more proactive in handling these kind of issues, because these kind of issues are known. This risk are known. So everybody know that okay, this is going to happen. So they need to be proactive and handle it accordingly.
Okay, sir. So another question is actually we got what percentage of projects will succeed that deliver on right time and with the minimum cost overrun? So what is the percentage of?
Okay, that is what I was initially telling, because PMI was actually put forward a statistics that 14% of the total projects is supposed to fail or failing with the triple constraints, with the time, cost, and schedule. All these things, considering together, these projects have been failing. But when we are considering one of the aspects, like considering the cost or timeline, or then more than 50% of the project is a failure. So we need to make sure that we are continuously monitoring it, continuously planning it, continuously delivering, and continuously monitoring in order to make the project totally successful.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So another question is actually how whether this agile methodology can be applied for universally for all the projects around.
Yes, it can be applied for all the universities, because there are case studies in US now where many universities are inclined to do that, and now the federal government of US is also started doing in discipline agile. And this is actually a very good thing for universities, because there is a lot of changes which are happening now, and making sure that the customers have the key differentiator for the Agile project is that this will help in improving the customer satisfaction to the highest level. So if the universities are focusing on the customer satisfaction and making things happen, obviously this is a right approach to make happen. I can,
Yeah, okay.
from an academic perspective, that is a right approach.
Yeah, sir, another one, how the Agile works in complex high technology projects? Does it take 2 to 5 years with a long development cycle?
Yeah. In the case of Agile, it is only about a mindset. And the main thing which happens in the case of high complexity projects with more than 5 years, the only thing is that we need to adopt to the methodology, whichever the methodology which we are adopting. And some of the key things, the discipline Agile is giving you an flexibility of changing whatever is required and whatever is not required. If it is not required, change it. If it is required, adapt it. So we can actually tailor it. For example, some of these interesting concepts like transparency, giving it to the different stakeholders, publishing reports to the different stakeholders on every 2 weeks, or the closure of every sprint. These kind of things which can be adapted in any kind of projects. Keeping the high agile team or a high visibility team, a self-sustained team, all those things we can adopt in a high complex project. And this is actually helping the entire agile team, entire project to be more successful. So absolutely this can be a very good thing for complex high technology project. The only thing is that, like for example, ISRO is going with a huge rocket launcher and or maybe a satellite launcher. So they can actually implement this methodology where the key differentiator may be the enterprise awareness, the awareness of the macro environment. Like enterprise awareness will consist of 5 parts. One is awareness about the individual, awareness about the team, awareness about the department, awareness about the organization, and awareness about the community. So these kind of key principles can be used in any of the project, and which will make the project improvise a better. So every week, after every sprint or every cycle, the project will get improvised. This can be a very good method.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sir. So another one more question. So as a question regarding the statistics, the PMI project failure data is of 40%. So is it based on some research? And if so, if it in which year actually?
PMI project failure data is of 14%, 14%. It is based out of 2017, and they have actually associated with some key research organizations, and that data is available in the internet. It is available with the PMI site as well. So this is which the PMI project failure rate, which PMI is telling about 14%, and that too considering all the triple constraints.
Yeah. Okay. So one more question before concluding today. So is Agile is a method to implement immediate project changes?
Yes. Is the Agile is a method? Yeah. There will be a lot of immediate project, because nowadays the key thing is that most of the projects, there will be a lot of key changes which are happening. Maybe the vision of the organization may change immediately because we don't know what is happening to the next. And maybe some of the people may leave the organization, come and new people will be coming. The customers will be initially, which we are actually targeting. We will have a competitive product which has been coming on the way, or the vision may be changing at every now and then. So Agile is a right methodology which can adapt both the things, that is immediate changes as well as long-term changes. The only thing is that whichever is the right methodology, we need to formulate it, identify it, and as a team effort, we need to make sure that this project is this methodology is getting implemented continuously in the project. And the key differentiator in an Agile project and another project is that it is a continuous value delivery, which is actually given by the Agile project to the customer on a regular basis. So we will get the customer feedback as well, and we can actually reciprocate very quickly to that.
Yeah, sir. Like you said, the customer feedbacks, like in the chat box, we had the participant says that was a great exposure for the topic actually. So I think this topic we can conclude today, sir. So thank you for this wonderful presentation, sir. So yeah, myself, Sumad, I'm part of Computer Society of India. Like that, we have much more technical organizations led by this Inter Societies organizing this program that made this program more successful. Okay, so I think we can move to the official vote of thanks session. So from Vakamole Foundation Trust, we have Mr. A. Suhair for delivering the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir. Suhair, sir.
Good evening. It's a really a very pleasant job to say a word of thanks, particularly when you see a lot of friends, colleagues, and relatives around you. A very big thank you for supporting this event. This Inter Society webinar is an offshoot of the COVID time. And it has now come to be a boon, a very popular program in which a large number of people are participating from all over the world. You have 300, 400 people registering, showing their interest in the program, and more than 100 people attending throughout the program. That way, it's a great success. And Institution of Engineers, IEEE, EMBS, Internet Society, PMI, and Wakamole Foundation is really proud to work together and to give you the best speakers and the topics to enrich your knowledge during this difficult time. Today's speaker is Dr. T.I. Krishna Kumar. He's an alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, a prestigious management institution. He's also the president of the PMI Kerala State. He was former DGM of IBM. Very experienced person, and who else is more competent to talk on this topic today other than Dr. Krishna Kumar. Thank you, Dr. Krishna Kumar, for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
The topic, Design Your Destiny, aroused a lot of curiosity. Somebody asked me, is it an astrology talk or a management talk or a technology talk? So now, at the end of the talk, this Design Your Destiny will not stand alone. It stands with the DA, that is a disciplined agile way. This is a tool set of strategies. So he has narrated explained the topic by analogy of the cricket and other interesting things that makes it more understandable. So I think all of us enjoyed the talk very much. And something is, I'm carrying it in my mind. Usually risk is, we all consider it is a dangerous thing, but the speaker has told us that risk is an opportunity. So we have to see it in a positive manner. And also this summary, the cardinal principle of DA is be awesome. So that's the message that he leaves to us. So we all have to go back awesome and turn new leaves in our life, make it more brighter. All of us have to do some kind of project in our lifetime. So new ideas, new thinking, new knowledge is going to make it sharper, brighter, and more powerful to approach the problems in our day-to-day life. So I thank everybody who has attended this program, made it successful, and the speaker and the organizer Harinder Lal and his own team and all the sponsoring organizations for making it a wonderful show. Thank you very much. Good night.
So let's conclude today's session. So I think we can move on. So thank you all for joining today. So have a good evening. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for the great response.
fine. The next week, I think we are having the topic invasive biomedical robots. This is the topic for the next webinar session.